So, my boy TK sat here and sent me a video earlier, right? And like, yo, I'm just beginning to like hate Asians, just all together because they're just awful. They're awful, like legit, like they're just awful human beings, and they're all dumber than a bag of hammers, right? And it's just like, how do I put this, man? Listen, so like any nonsense, right, that like gets spewed to them, they just like keep and then regurgitate it, right? Rather than doing any thought pattern in their head, working it the hell through, just like, like all like the little homosexual white kids, what I mean? They all just spout and regurgitate nonsense that they heard in school, right? Without ever really like thinking about it. Even when you challenge them, they don't really like try to sit here and like reevaluate the way that they think about things. So I wanted to stand here and bring y'all this a little bit, right? And give y'all like a chance to like check this out, because I'll be honest with you, all right? The suburbs are terrible, but not for the reason you think. Let's get into this video right here and we're gonna rock it out.
I'm not a talkative person. I was always the quiet one at school. And
let me be honest with bro, like your real shit. Okay, like this just how does this dude have more subs than me? Like, how is this possible? This zero charisma having individual with a lisp has more subs than me. How is this even fucking possible? Like, is this all y'all want? Y'all want like little weak little gamers and shit to follow? Is this what's going on, man? I don't understand. Like, legitimately. Let's keep rocking, bro.
And among my friends. And I'm just not the kind of person to strike up a conversation with someone, especially strangers.
Hey, what's your
That's probably really obvious. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you don't like talking to other human beings, right? Because you're a bugman, right? And this is what bugmen do.
name? What's your name? Hey, wait, come back.
But it's important to recognize that being social is crucial for our mental health and well-being, no matter how quiet or introverted you are. The number one factor in improving life satisfaction is not money, nor is it 饭吃炒鸡蛋. It's social connections. Well-connected people can live on average 15 years longer.
Okay, this is a dude surrounded by like what most people would call fat chicks. I mean, I like them thick, me personally, you know what I mean? Right? But like this dude here, like he's living his best life, but he's not properly socially connected in the way that like, most white Anglo-Saxons would think of it. I mean, this is a guinea who's over here pulling all these broads. And I'm down, though. Like, 100% I am down. Like, yo, though, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when you take that Viagra, you know what I'm saying? You have an erection the last more than 3 hours, don't call the police. Call more bitches. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going, though.
That's why it's important that we design our cities to foster social trust and bring people together. Urban design plays a huge role in how socially connected we are. Unfortunately, most of the US and Canada are built.
All right, look. Okay, so let me talk about this, right? I've been around a lot of this country, right? I've been all over the place. And I'll be honest with you, right? The problem, what I'm saying, is not, like how things are designed, because they're just not designed as a whole, right? And like the process by which these individuals stand here and, get pieces of land and have them zoned is ridiculous. Yo, why is my cat inside of the cupboard? And it's not like on the bottom cover. It's like inside of the cupboard where my plates go. Like the one, like it's up off the counter. Like, man, listen, I'm sorry, y'all. Let's keep going.
Is not in our cities to foster social trust and bring people together. Urban design plays a huge role in how socially connected we are. Unfortunately, most of the US and Canada are built in a way that isolates people. Suburbs were originally designed to make us happy. Back in the day, downtowns were smelly, dirty old places.
Okay, so what, like, and this is nonsense what he's saying here. I mean, sort of, it's a half truth, right? So like suburbs are designed to mimic like villages and towns, right? But they're missing like some super crucial things, right? Check this out. This is a town, all right? like, you know, a little Main Street thing. It's not a city, it's a town. Tell me what you see. Do you see, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, row homes? No, you do not. Do you see, like, you know, like homes that are all like attached and, like, you know, have driveways and stuff? No, you do not. You see people parking on the street, right? You see shops, right, and like restaurants, right? This is the problem, right? This is ultimately the problem with, you know what I mean, like actual real towns and shit, right? At the end of the day, because this is what suburbia is, all right? If you'll notice something, it's all just houses with a driveway and all cookie cutter, right? And they all look the same, and there's no alleyways and there's no connections, right? And it's awful, right? It's garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they all have sidewalks, right? You know, like you can walk through all this place or whatever it is, which again, you know what I mean, is fine. But like what you need, right, is like an actual town. Like, look at this, right? So this is what's known as a town. This is actually a borough, but you know, I mean, it's a place in my neck of the woods. So like, if you look here, what you have is so like you have like, you know, little whatever, right? But in the middle of it, look, you have a candy shop, right? You got, you know what I mean, like a pizza shop. You know, you got, you know what I'm saying, like fucking auto repair shops, right? You have like fucking daycares over here, right? You have, you know what I mean, like a fucking, you have a cemetery over here, right? You got a tattoo place right here. You got a daycare over here, right? You have all these things that are in walking distance to your house, right? And it's kind of important that we do this type of stuff, right? So this is another place. This is a place called Duncannon, right? It's a nice little place. And look, you have people living here, right? And I go down through here on a regular basis, right? You know, especially like when the highway is all like, because they're like working on the exits and stuff. So I just drive through here, right? And I come down here and I might like stop, you know what I mean, to get like something to munch on or whatever the case is. I go to the grocery store near here, right? But like, again, look at this. Look at all of the businesses. Pizza shops. This is a hotel that has a bar in the bottom of it, right? You know what I mean? Down here in the bottom of this, right? There's like there's a laundromat. There's a little beer distributor. There's a fucking little sub shop, right? You know what I mean? And then like you go a little further out in this place, right? You know what I'm saying? And like this is a town right here, right? It has what's known as like alleyways, which by the way, alleyways is what separates a suburb from like a town, right? Because suburbs don't have alleyways. I don't know why that is. But like, yeah, look, this is the other side of this. Look, real fucking food place that has a butcher in it, right? And it has like proper produce, things of this nature. And it's, you know, it's up the road a little bit, but it's not that far of a walk, right? It's not that big of a deal. There's a credit union. There's a Rite Aid. There's, you know, I mean, there's like fucking, yeah, I don't even know what a hatchery is, but like it has one there, right? It has like a whole bunch of places where you can like physical therapy, you know what I mean, like fucking wellness centers, right? Like a wine and spirits. It has a gas station, right? There's a car lot, right? There's all this stuff. There's parks, right? There's all these things. And then, you know what I mean, like this place, if you look at it, right, and in the last picture, look, you see this on the right hand side? This is a river, right? And you can go fishing, right? And it has all this stuff. Right, it has all this stuff within walking distance from your house. Right, this is the problem with modern suburbs and cities. Right, in the end of the day, because like cities, they like pack you in fucking row homes and shit, and you still like have like all the same problems of where like, you know, like you don't have like personal connections because you're stacked in a box with like, you know, 1,000 other people and you don't know most of them. Maybe you might know like your direct neighbors or some shit, but like you don't have family, right? You don't have people around you, like, and you're urban dwelling, you know what I mean, like cubicle monkey in the end of the day. And this is kind of important for like our well-being as human beings to not live like this. Here's what happens. What happens is that you have a developer buy one piece of land, right, from like a farmer usually, right? Usually like you see like where the little like trees are and stuff, right? Those are actually the edges of where like farmers' fields were, right? And so what ends up happening is that you have these suburbs, you know what I mean, like the subdivisions go in and like they just build a couple roads, you know what I mean? They don't want to have to put too much work in. They don't want to have to do anything extra. And they just sit here and they put like cookie cutter houses in that are all basically all prefab now, right? These houses aren't even actually built. They're prefab. So like they'll bring in all the pieces, like the walls and, you know what I mean, like the rafters and the roofs and all that. It's all be fucking pre-done. and just hammer it all on. And that way they can get the most amount of profit as possible with the least amount of workers as possible. This is basically like, trying to like mass produce fucking housing for people. But it still costs $400,000 and $500,000 for most of these type of homes. And this is not how like human beings are supposed to live, right? And because of the fact that like it isn't like an actual town, right? It's just like a little subdivision in a county somewhere, an unincorporated place, or an HOA. You're not going to have things like restaurants, right? You're not going to have things like bars. You're not going to have things where you can go and hang the hell out, right? Because it's not an actual town. It's not a natural fucking town, right? In reality. And this is the fucking problem. These are nurseries for the fucking management classes kids. This is the real problem with this. Is that this is just, all right, I got a job, me and my wife have to work, whatever it is, I'm saying? We want to have some kids. We're going to move here so, like, the kids have enough room because, like, you don't want the kids growing up in the city and watching heroin addicts all around them, just the massive amounts of destructions, the problems, all that type of stuff that happens inside of a city. And so you move out here like, hey, look, like, I want to, like, have, like, my own stuff, my own places, my own land where I can, like, have something out back or whatever it is. But most of these people, like, they don't really appreciate any of that stuff. And like, this is just, it's trash. It's a terrible way to live in the end of the day, right? Because like, there's nothing around you. You're not going to meet people because like, there's nothing to go to. Like, you're just going to drive from there to work, back to there every day. And this is just the reality of it. And you might go to like a store to go shopping, which is in a giant, like center. And this dude here, right, who like we were listening to for a second because like I don't like the sound of his voice anymore and I'm not going to do it, right? The reality is that he's like, well, you have to have proper urban planning. You're never going to have a Target or a Walmart that's going to be able to distribute goods to all these people inside of the city. It's just not going to work. And by the way, like, you're not going to be able to carry home a week's worth of groceries for your family, which, that's the reason why you don't go to the store every day, right, is because that's an expensive way to live. I don't know if you've ever gone to the store every day for like a family, right? If you try to like go every day and get a meal, this is like half the fucking problem is nobody wants to cook, right? So like you don't have potatoes laying around and rice and blah, 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 blah. You don't have like the ingredients laying around just to make a meal, right? What you do is you go to the store and you buy a $5 pizza or two $5 pizzas every day, right? Or you go and you get like fucking stuff for spaghetti one night. You go get whatever, right? And every time like you're just buying these single serve fucking items are expensive, right? Right now, we pay about 8% of our fucking budget for fucking food. In 1967, when things were set up more the way you want them, you paid 27% for fucking food. Because you went to one place for a butcher. You went to one place for your, your dry goods. You went to another place, for, I don't know, like your pastas and all that type of stuff, right? You pay different amounts for everything, right? And then, like, you had to go home and you had to actually cook that. These are the things that like you don't understand, right? Because like distribution doesn't work in a way that's like copacetic with standing here being able to have a whole bunch of urban dwelling individuals with small shops. Because again, you're not going to put a Walmart in a city. And you're not going to be able to carry the groceries home by hand. Like think about when like, if you're a family of 3 or 4, right? Say it's mom, dad, 2 kids, right? Think about all the groceries you need for the week. Right? Usually that's why you have a grocery cart. That's about how much it is. Okay? Imagine trying to put that on a fucking bus or in a subway or anything of that nature. It doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work as a whole, right? Because like it's a lot of goods that you're carrying home. And this is why like most people, like who in the modern day, even in like other cities like Europe and whatnot, if you have children, you either A, don't live in a city, or B, you own a car to be able to go get groceries. Right? To be able to go get basic goods that you need for fucking work. That's just how life operates. It's how economics operate. It just makes more sense to do it that way. But again, you could have a local grocery store, right? But you're not going to have like these type of subdivisions, and the grocery store's gonna be right outside of that. Right? And you're gonna drive in a car to go get your stuff. Right? Reality. But some of these houses should be like restaurants and little businesses or fucking little shops, that you can go to. Like, hey, man, listen, I don't want to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go to my local shop and I'm going to get, like fucking whatever. I'm gonna go get a head of lettuce or something because I'm making tacos and I have everything but lettuce, which is always a thing. Every time you make tacos, you gotta get lettuce, sour cream, right? You usually always have a bag of cheese somewhere in the fridge, you know. And you got hamburger, right? And you got the shells, and you got the taco mix, right? You can make the taco mix whichever way you want to go with it. You know what I mean? Like I always have all the stuff to do all that with, right? But what I don't have, you know what I mean, ever, is fucking lettuce. Like I've literally gone to restaurants around here and be like, dude, look, how much for like a bowl of lettuce? I want to make tacos at the crib. Right? They'll just give you some shredded lettuce. And again, you can do this at local restaurants. Right? They'll do these type of things for you. You know, it's not that big of a fucking deal. You know what I mean? But like, you can't do that when all of what you're fucking doing is selling up fucking housing, and you're only zoned for one thing because they're zoning the whole shit. They're not zoning each individual lot. This is the problem, and it's not natural. These are all built right at one time. They go through, and like, if you ever go through, you can go to landwatch.com, right? And what they'll have is they'll just have little individual squares of like some farmer's field that got sold off, right? And these little squares, each of these little squares is each individual owned piece of property, right? And they'll build a road that goes past all the individual squares, in between all the squares, right? And then, you know what I mean, just bring a builder in, you build your stuff, and that's your thing. Sometimes 84% of them now are all homeowners associations, right? So you didn't have to have a town, right? And that way you don't have to worry about like businesses and things of this fucking nature. This is how stuff works, you know what I mean, in the end of the day, because, you know, none of this was grown naturally. Just like America and our economy, it was not grown naturally. All of this stuff was done on like a supercharged, purposeful fucking basis. The more you know. So, what do we really need? Better zoning, right? It's like you need little restaurants and shops in between these things. You need these to be towns, right? You need to set up whole towns, whole cloth. No more homeowners associations. No more of this nonsense, right? It's literally just you need to set up a town, right? And in setting up a town, what you do is you put a park in, right? And you put in like businesses, and you have little spots where you have, you know, pizza shops, or, you know, fucking restaurants, or little shops, you know, that like, or just sell books or whatever it is, coffee shops, any of these type of things. That way you can get to know your neighbors, because guess what? You have a local place that's owned by a human being. The market doesn't really have a way of pricing this into this type of stuff. It just doesn't, right? And this is how this works. We're doing this the most efficient way possible, right? Because you know what capitalism, communism, socialism really are in the end of the day? They're not religions. What they are ways to distribute goods. It's really easy. And the most efficient way to distribute goods is the way we're doing it right now. It's super efficient. But it's not good for human beings. Tom Peace with Pnoid News. Peace be like one. I'm out.